The governor of New York traveling to Buffalo to meet with law enforcement and emergency responders in the wake of an explosion at the Rainbow Bridge in Niagara Falls. NBC's Tom Winter has the latest reporting on this for us. Tom, what more do we know about what's happening there?
Chris, we know that the FBI Buffalo field office is on scene and investigating in what they've described as a vehicle explosion. And they say right now they're still trying to determine exactly what may have happened here. I think we need to use the word explosion a little bit carefully here, because all we know is that a vehicle, according to multiple law enforcement officials, apparently crashed into a structure at the CBP checkpoint at this bridge. It's an area, a crossing rather, between Canada and the U.S. near Niagara Falls, as you explained, and that at some point after that, the vehicle, and it's very clear from the pictures we're starting to see filter in through social media, some images were still verifying that the vehicle did have some sort of an explosion. I want to caution folks that we don't yet have a motive. We don't yet know whether this incident is intentional or not, and so there's no indication to us that there was an actual explosive in that vehicle. But as we've seen, unfortunately, with incidents that have happened at other toll booth or checkpoint stations, sometimes a vehicle that hits those very sturdy structures at a high rate of speed can sometimes, between gasoline or contents in the car, effectively explode. So that's really the big question right now, Chris, is whether or not this is intentional. We're in touch, myself and my colleagues, including Jonathan Dienst, we're in touch with all the folks that we would normally be speaking to about these incidents, and obviously they're investigating it to make sure, given the environment that we're in, which has been described by both the FBI director and New York City and New York State law enforcement officials as a heightened threat environment, and they're concerned about an incident where somebody might take a vehicle or any sort of weapon and act out on their own because of obviously what we know is going on in the Middle East with Israel and Hamas. So at this hour, again, still not clear whether or not this was some sort of an intentional act or just a bad accident, but officials are obviously taking it quite seriously.
Yeah, how quickly, if they're obviously on scene and they have experts who are coming in or may already be there, how quickly would they be able to have at least a preliminary indication if this was something that might have been untoward?
Right. So the first thing you do is you look at the license plate, you look at the surveillance video. How was the vehicle driving in the moments leading up to its impact? Did it look like somebody had accidentally stuck on the accelerator, and so then that drove into this, or were they intentionally aiming for a stanchion? Or were there any other vehicles that were trying to transit at the same time that were suspicious? Are those vehicles being checked out? Those are some of the questions that they would, and some of the things that they would be investigating. Certainly, if they can get a license plate or a VIN number off of this vehicle, they would start to be able to identify who may have owned it, whose possession it was in, whether it was stolen or not, the background of it. So there's all sorts of questions and things that they could start to investigate to determine. Of course, if there's any identification they could find of the occupants, that would be helpful as well. So those are the types of things that they'll look at and then run it against anybody's prior, do they have any sort of prior interactions with law enforcement? Or is it somebody that may have a known medical condition, such as a heart issue or other issue that could have led to them becoming unconscious before this incident, having their foot stuck on the accelerator, and obviously the end result in some of the images that we've started to see. But obviously this border crossing is now closed, and it certainly, again, given the fact that it's the day before Thanksgiving and given the environment that we're in, has people concerned.